All right, welcome back to Random City Sports Ballers. We are having another draft. I made a promise to a subscriber that I would do one more draft. This one is another Yahoo Prize League, and I am pick number 7. And you might be seeing queued up is Ronald Acuna Jr., and the way that this draft position plays out, this may be my first chance to take Ronald Acuna. Obviously I've had other chances. I've had some. I've had a lot of 12th and 10th pick, but this time I'll take a shot with Ronald Acuna Jr. and then we don't know where the second round is going to go, but Kyle Schwarber, Cal Raleigh, that really drives home the home runs, so that would help a ton. Cal Raleigh, catcher, that gives me a little more position flexibility later on. But I think he gets over 50 home runs this coming year. He's not exactly like 35 or something like that. Cal Raleigh is a young player. And I don't think that he's fallen back down by 25 home runs or something. He's getting a huge home run total, and he'll get a bunch of the RBIs that I like to look for as well. There's a lot of upside to a Cal Raleigh. So Acuna first, and then I'm looking at Schwarber or Raleigh for the second round to drive in some more home runs. And the first pick is underway with Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, that is always expected, him or Ohtani, one or the other. And the second one to go will be Ohtani. And there goes Ohtani. And why not, right? There goes Bobby Witt. That's the third pick. I expect Soto or Skubal. And there goes Soto, another good pick. And so, what are we doing here, fellas? Tariq Skubal, Ellie De La Cruz, or Ellie De La Cruz, then Tariq Skubal? Or maybe they mix it up. Maybe somebody wants Jose Ramirez. You never know. Someone might want Skeens, but it was Skubal. And he took Acuna right before me. Right before me. That's heart-wrenching. That's a heartbreaker right there, fellas. Okay, let's regroup. Kyle Tucker is a possibility. Julio Rodriguez is a possibility. Ellie De La Cruz is a possibility. Jose Ramirez is a possibility. Ramirez being the elder of them. I don't hate the idea of taking a Paul Skeens and getting started on pitchers. But, okay. Based on position and based on, just my own personal feelings, I'm taking Ramirez. Man, we were going to have Acuna, guys. He went with the number 6 pick. That is a bummer for me. I had all my thing planned out, so now I got to work around. Third base is already grabbed. Good number of home runs and stolen bases. Excellent runs. Pretty good RBIs. And put a year on Ramirez, so we may see a little regression. It's not going to be terrible. He's not turning 38. So we're gonna work third base in here as Jose Ramirez. That works out good. After that went Paul Skeens, and that was a thought I had, maybe Skeens, but I've done that one. There goes Rodriguez with the 9th pick, and Ellie De La Cruz is waiting until maybe 10th or later. That's wild. He's a stolen base. He's going to get a bunch. Look, 37 last year. And may steal more this year. I don't know how many more home runs he is capable of. I just don't know. He's got good numbers, though, across. So he's a fine one to pick up for somebody. Drafting a different way than I am. That's a different type of draft. Now, Caminero here as a third baseman gets more home runs and RBIs than Jose Ramirez, but the stolen bases are going to fall. So I need to make up for the home runs that I could have had with Caminero by grabbing Cal Raleigh or Kyle Schwarber. So Garrett Crochet went with the 10 pick, and that puts Ellie De La Cruz at 11, maybe. Yep, 11th pick. That's gonna. And Tucker went with the 12th pick. And what's your second pick on your back-to-back, my friend? Maybe take you a second. Okay, take a second. He took Gunnar Henderson. I don't hate Gunnar Henderson. It's just, I've said this before, and shortstop is so deep, I'm waiting on shortstop. I can get the numbers I want for my team from a shortstop. So we're gonna work that angle. But wow, Cal Raleigh and Kyle Schwarber, one of them's got to get to me, right? These are the guys I want. These are my home run hitters. These are some serious home run hitters. In the absence of that, I could look at a Vlad Guerrero. Last year he only had 23 home runs, but a great batting average. I mean, I just don't think his numbers benefit my style of drafting. He doesn't have great power. I mean, he's got decent power. I mean, don't get me wrong. But there goes Guerrero with the 14th pick. And, but yeah, my team, you guys know that I like to build a lot of power and sneak in stolen bases along the way, right? Sneak in some. Kyle Schwarber snuck in some last year, didn't he? Cal Raleigh snuck in a few as well. So either one of those guys helps in that category. Not necessarily helping out great in our batting average, but I punt batting average 100% of the time. I just ignore it. It's not a statistic that I feel like is really beneficial to your team because it's so volatile. It's so volatile. Over the course of the season, the guys get their numbers, but that doesn't mean they get them every week. And so you're up and down. And the way I draft, I usually end up catching wins in the batting average category no matter what. Because if I ignore it, I'm still going to get pretty good numbers. There goes Caminero with the 15th pick. But yeah, stolen bases, you just can't ignore stolen bases. You don't want to ignore stolen bases. That's not going to work out great for you. There goes Kyle Schwarber with number 16. Boy, they would really chop off my legs if they went ahead and took Cal Raleigh right here, wouldn't they? Just chop the legs right out from under me. And then I'm looking at someone like Tatis that doesn't have any power. I mean, he's got some. Doesn't get a lot of RBIs. Corbin Carroll, this might be a better option over Tatis. But Cal Raleigh, he's the guy I'm looking at. Nick Kurtz at first base falls into the mold of us a little bit better with his 36 home runs. And he took Churio. So that leaves me Cal Raleigh right here with pick number 18. And there we go. That gets me in my home runs, RBIs, a lot of runs, handful of stolen bases. 14's not bad last year. 247 batting average is not spectacular, but it's not bad either. I mean, it's not going to hurt me. So after that went Chisholm, and there goes Carroll with the 20th pick. There's Tatis on the 21st pick, and I think everybody knows what's about to happen. Yep, there goes Yamamoto. What gets back to me, now this is interesting. This is where I like the number 7 pick because I get better players coming back to me than I do with the 12th pick or 10th pick. I'm what is that, 4 picks earlier, 5 picks earlier? So, I mean, that gives me better there. And then in the 4th round, it's not too terrible of a wait because in the 4th round, I can be eyeballing a lot of those higher-end second-tier pitchers. There's a lot of them. I consider Yamamoto to be right on the edge of a top tier. And, that there's a lot of pitchers here, fellas. Let's take a look at the pitchers. Sanchez, Gilbert, Wu, Sale, Logan Webb, Hunter Brown, Max Fried. These are the guys I'm talking about. One of these can be a great 4th round pick. Alonso went with the 23rd pick, and so Dio's Blasters has a back-to-back moment. Going back-to-back, round 2 and 3, fellas. His first pick was Aaron Judge, so it would not surprise me to see him take a pitcher. Actually, nothing would surprise me. No, actually, everything is on the table, right? Because he's only got an outfielder. So he's got a lot of work left to do. But he's getting 2 picks. There goes Kurtz for one of them. So he's sealing up home runs as well. He obviously likes power. And who's your next one? Is it going to be I mean, if it's Christopher Sanchez, I don't have any investment in Christopher Sanchez this year, and I don't know why. It just didn't work out. It hasn't worked out. I mean, it's just, I think the investment is a little high, but, you know, I could be wrong on that as well. And he took Mookie Betts with his second pick. And that's another one. I won't have any Mookie Betts. I think he showed signs last year that he is in decline. I genuinely believe that Mookie Betts is in decline. Sanchez has a little news. What you got going on, Sanchez? Fans 8 combined. He's had a shutout game, but he struck out 8 in 5 innings. So that's doing pretty good. Playing Korea, so not exactly lightweights, but I mean it's not Major League Baseball batting that he's up against all the time here. Mookie Betts, number 25. All right, we'll be back in a second, fellas. And we had Brent Rooker, Christopher Sanchez, and then Trey Turner. So now I'm scouting out who is my next pick. I like Matt Olson, but there are some first basemen that I think can give me similar output here. You know, I mean, and Lindor went with 30th pick. I like James Wood. I think I could wait on him. I don't hate Brian Wu in this position either. I don't have any Wu yet this season. You know, he had a great year last year. Good strikeouts, 15 wins, 2.94 ERA, and a 93 WHIP. Wow. So great season out of him. There's fellas like Zach Neto. Neto is good for some home runs, not great on RBIs, good at stolen bases. Ketel Marte. We know second base is brutal. Manny Machado, but I have a third baseman, James Wood. We talked about him with his home runs and stolen base production. Matt Olson we talked about. And so I think right here I am going to go ahead on and take Brian Wu. And we'll get our third pick is our first pitcher. Because a lot of these other fellas, some of them are getting back to me. And I don't know that Wu is. So now I have a definite Tier 2 starting pitcher. I mean, Brian Wu last year, what a season. And if you drafted him in his draft position last year, which was a lot later than the third round, man, you really, it was almost like a steal. Almost like you stole him. There goes Neto after Machado. Like I said, I would have looked at Machado, but I went Ramirez at third base, so I am fine at third base. But that doesn't, eliminate some of the guys who are multi-position eligible or who I might just want on my team, because I do have utility slots. Keep that in mind. You do want your whole starting lineup filled in, but you do have 2 utility slots. If you want a second third baseman or second shortstop, or you need to fill in some guys that'll be your outfielders, whatever. Fill in those utilities however you see fit. If you want to fill it in with a guy who gets some extra stolen bases, like, Caballero, fill it in with that guy. Get your stolen bases however you got to. And so, we got another pick coming up in 7. Oh, Lord almighty. 7, that's a long wait. All right. So, this guy's taking as long as I did. Don't blame you, Jason. 1, is this his first draft then, maybe? It's his first draft. He's taking it all the way. Yordan Alvarez. Okay. Houston outfielder. That's okay pick, right? I mean, there goes Ketel Marte. Second base is really rough this year. Second base is rough. And his second pick is Matt Olson. So, a lot of the guys I was looking at them because I knew they wouldn't be getting back. I mean, that's just how you have to roll. Do you know if that guy is not getting back to you and you really want him, you have to take him. And that's where I felt Brian Wu was. I don't know that anybody else. I mean, it'd be weird if none of these guys take a pitcher here. It would definitely shock me. Matt Olson, and then Jason, you're taking your time again, buddy. I like seeing someone take their time. I don't grow impatient with someone else taking as much time as they need for their pick. If you've seen some of my drafts, you know that I will often utilize every second available. There goes Pete Crow Armstrong. He's another one would have been on my radar. And, like I said, I don't have any Brian Wu this year, so I really wanted that to happen. But Pete Crow Armstrong, that is a good pick. That is a fine pick in 38th. So do not ignore some of what he can do. He's good for, and there goes Bryce Harper. See, he had excellent stolen bases and home runs last year to go with RBIs and runs. Batting average didn't follow along, but I don't care about that, and you shouldn't either. Okay, there's Duran. I do have it. Oh, I could Bryce Terang. For my second base. I don't know that I really, really, really want that to happen. Roman Anthony is not... Oh, it's my pick. There went Hunter Brown. Roman Anthony is not my speed. Duran, I would take him around later. I would take him around later. Logan Webb is here. Jacob deGrom. Cody Bellinger. Bellinger had a good year last year. Riley Green... Maybe he fits the mold a little bit. He had good home runs, 36 of them. And I think that's as far as we're going to look. So, we got Terang as an idea. Doesn't really have power, but he's got stolen bases. We got Devers could fill in at first base. We've got Cody Bellinger. And we've got Jackson Merrill. Maybe, this would be my first Rafael Devers. This would be my first time with him. So let's go ahead and do Rafael Devers. Now we've got first base. I'm not leaving myself in a hole like I did the past couple of drafts, guys, where I'm begging for, oh, please let Torkelson get to me. Instead, I've got what I consider a quality first baseman, high RBIs, good home runs, high runs, no stolen bases, but we're making up for some of that with our pick of Ramirez, and Raleigh has a handful. So... we're doing pretty good on our numbers. So, all right, we'll see you back in, looks like 12 picks. All right, it's my pick. And, guys, I'm going to tell you, we just had a serious run on starting pitchers. They took us all the way to Jacob deGrom deep right there. So, starting pitchers thinned out a lot. I mean, most of them took a starting pitcher right there. But I am taking, because of the way I'm building this team, I'm taking Maikel Garcia right here. I don't think he gets back to me. I'm not sure, but only one of these teams has a second baseman. Only one. They might see the second base in him, and I have to have him on my team, or I suffer later. So now we're secure on our entire infield but shortstop. Still need outfielders, though, guys. I still need outfielders, and there's a lot of that left. Duran, Anthony, Bellinger, one of these guys could be up next. Riley Green. And then I could get in the few rounds after Soderstrom or O'Neal Cruz, Rosarena. And, maybe we go all the way to Teoscar Hernandez, Joe Adell. I mean, these are some good guys to put in my outfield. So I feel pretty safe right here. With my 6th round, again, I am not 100% certain, but I think, fellas, I will be taking an outfielder. That's no guarantees. Look at George Kirby. Hey, where'd George? There he is. George Kirby with his ERA and WHIP last year was just, the ERA was heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking. Jarren Duran, man, I wish he had some more power than this. I really do. What am I looking at for my power numbers right now? Let's see, 110 home runs, 342 RBIs, and 344 predicted on that. But let's take a look at what we did last year. 393, 141, 393. So these numbers are coming along fine considering I have only 4 bats. So I can actually sacrifice a tiny bit of power. Not much, though. Not much. I've got to keep pushing for power to build the team that I always do. Try to secure those numbers. So, anyways, we'll see you back in a pick or two. Coming up next, we've just had a little mini run on pitching right here. deGrom and Dylan Cease went, and Munoz also went. And so did George Kirby. So there was a little bit more thinned out from the starting pitchers. I am thrilled that I took a second-tier starting pitcher when I did, because I don't think I would be happy if I waited until now to get my first pitcher. You know, I need a guy who's going to anchor my pitching staff. Okay, he took Duran, the relief pitcher, not the outfielder. So I'm going to take Riley Green. We're going to get these power numbers back up, get some more RBIs. You know, I'm doing good on stolen bases, so I can sacrifice with him. So let's go ahead and take Riley Green and get that out of the way quick. And we got our first outfielder, and it's a power guy. So we're doing well, fellas. We're doing well again. All right, see you back in 11 more. Hey, we're back to me, and Eugenio Suarez just went at third base. Another little run at starting pitchers there. They just took Joe Ryan, and another closer just went. Let's take a look at relief pitchers where I could still maybe get Bednar on the way back around. There's still some good ones here. I don't hate the wait on that, but I don't think I can wait on my second starting pitcher. But there's also outfielders I need to fill in. We have a couple of good ones here in Soderstrom and O'Neill Cruz. O'Neill Cruz, though, just a bad year last year. But Soderstrom, decent year last year from most perspectives. Rosa Reyna is still sitting here. We'll see, maybe he gets back. So let's go ahead and get a starting pitcher, and I'm going to take Nick Pivetta. I understand he's got a little arm fatigue, guys. He's got a little arm fatigue, so you know we're hoping that he is ready to start the season with no issues from that. Coming back to me, I'm looking at starting pitchers or relief pitchers. Most of what I can see as far as bats goes, I can wait on similar or maybe even better. What's Kevin Gausman got going on right now? He's going to start opening day. Okay, well, that's good news. I don't have a relief pitcher yet, and I do like Aroldis Chapman. You know, I understand the age is getting there, fellas. He is getting old. But it doesn't seem to affect a lot of the closers. You know, it's not the same for a closer. So I'm going to go ahead and take Aroldis Chapman and have that first closer. And then we'll contemplate those other things, outfielders, shortstop, or starting pitching, as we come back in 12 picks. And it's my turn again. Willy Adames still sitting here. I mean, there's not much more that can be weighted on. You know, Trevor Story is still here also, guys. I mean, don't discount Trevor Story just because he's up there in years. But I like Adames playing. I guess I have a few San Fran players between Devers and Adames. But yeah, we get our shortstop right here. And then maybe look at, on the way back, we might look at another starting or relief pitcher. Because there's still some good stuff left here. So we'll take Adames and get our shortstop right here. And let's take a look. We have Riley at catcher, Devers at first, Garcia at second, Ramirez at third, Adames at shortstop, Riley Green is our first outfielder. We have Brian Wu, Nick Pivetta, and Aroldis Chapman as a closer. So work on more of the pitching, and we'll be fine. All right, we'll see you back here in 9 picks. All right, I'm coming up. You see the pick that just went, Michael Busch. I actually was interested in putting him on my team for all those home runs. So instead, I'm going to grab a second closer in Hoffman, and now I've got 2 closers, and I need to get more starting pitching. And then I need outfielders, which I'm looking for maybe Adele and Paez. You know, what do you think of that? That's not a bad idea. Joe Adele come up here maybe next round. Paez would be around the same place. So Taylor Ward's another one I could fill in because he is good for some home runs and RBIs as well. Paez doesn't get quite the RBIs and home runs, but I mean he does play for the Dodgers, so that's a powerful offense. And then we know that Adele is all home runs, good RBIs, but just he doesn't score the runs. You know, he's not on a power. His offense is the Angels. I mean, you get what you get. But Adele is still a good pick in a lot of those. So I might be looking at outfielders. Starting pitchers are on my radar as well. There's a lot of guys here that can be grabbed. And, there's some of the outfielders. Let's see what I could wait on in the outfield. What could I wait on? Brian Reynolds could be waited on. Kerry Carpenter, Elliot Ramos. We know that Trent Grisham will be available later. So there are some guys that I don't necessarily want them as my starting guys, but they do fit what my team needs. So we're not out of the woods, but we're doing pretty good. Will Smith just went 125, and then Yuri Perez. And I don't have any of Taylor Ward yet. It's definitely between him and Adele, who I take here. But here's the thing. Similar home runs and RBIs, stolen bases, even batting average is pretty similar. But Ward is on a better offense, and he's in Baltimore. So let's go ahead and put him on the team, fellas. Now we've got 2 outfielders. We need 1 more outfielder and a couple of utilities, and then our bats are all filled in. But we still got a lot of work to do on the army of pitchers. I need a lot more starting pitching. So we're going to start looking at that here very soon. Coming up next, Blake Snell and Zach Wheeler just went, and that falls in with, I'm looking at going into the same situation, getting some more starting pitch. And a fella that I'm hoping gets back to me right here that I don't have any of yet is Bubba Chandler. I don't have any Bubba Chandler yet. So I think I'd like to go ahead and grab him because, I think that I don't know that this number is correct, this ERA and WHIP. I think he'll get to, a high innings count, not necessarily, maybe 150, maybe. But I think he's a good pitcher. And as far as other pitching goes, I have a lot of these other guys, Pepio. I don't have any Michael King. But if you look at relief pitchers, you see that, I could grab like a McGill or maybe Ryan Walker, Griffin Jacks. But I'm looking for Bubba Chandler on my team, so let's put him on there as my SP3. Then I need 3 more and another 3 more. Yeah, I need a lot more starting pitching. So I need to get about 6 more starting pitchers. So that's a lot. And I'm looking at making a run for him right now. I'll grab another outfielder and maybe one of my utilities along the way. But this is all going well according to plan, fellas. It's all going according to the plan we walked in with. Okay, coming up next, and I just want to point out, Agustin Ramirez is still here for people who are still looking for a catcher. Jeremy Pena is lasting around just ridiculous amount of time, fellas. I almost feel like I should be grabbing him right here. But I definitely need to grab another starting pitcher. And where we go with that, I'm not sure, but I think it's going to be Ryan Pepio. I like Ryan Pepio in so many ways, and Tampa Bay, they're back in a pitcher's park, so I think the numbers will even improve. He's proven he can get over 150 innings, so let's go get that volume. Okay, we're back to me, and we've had a little bit of starting pitchers go right here. So I'm going to take another instance of Tanner Bibby, and dude, improve those numbers, friend. Come on, you're better than that. Well, we're back to me with, I'm taking this guy, Rasmussen, right here. I think he's going too late in drafts anyways, but we're going to just grab him right here. I know there's injury concern here. I do. The 30-year-old, he's had elbow problems a couple of different times, maybe 2 or 3. But I'm going to take him and take a risk that he has a full season ahead of him. Coming up next, and now we're up to me, okay, and I get to take Andrew Abbott with this next pick. So we're getting more volume. Another guy, he's just going to make sure he's going to get 150 innings. He's a volume guy. That's fine with me. I understand, his wins are going to be limited, his strikeouts are slightly limited, but he helps with the ERA and WHIP. I don't know if he's going to regress this far. There is going to be some regression. But he gets the innings, and then, Matthew Boyd is also still right here. There's guys I can grab, but I like Andrew Abbott for this position, and there we go. And Matthew Boyd just went, so 2 picks away from me, and now I have to consider what I want. I was going to Matthew Boyd. I still don't have a Shane Baz, which, He could improve this year. I don't know. His struggles last year left a little bad taste in a lot of people. We're just going, oh boy, thanks, fella. But there's other guys I can grab, so I'm going to start grabbing some of these power bats that'll fill in for my home runs that, I want to dominate in home runs. And I've got Grisham and Manzardo here, and those are, last year, two of the better home run hitters. There's not much more that I can do to make up all those home runs. So I'm going to be looking at Grisham and then Manzardo. And I am going to dominate home runs and RBIs, and Grisham's going to give me a lot of runs with New York. So I've got one more guy that might snipe it out of me, the Lady Spartans. Do not snipe Trent Grisham. I'd like to have Trent Grisham, if you don't mind. That'll give me, last year he had 34 home runs in 494 at-bats. That's a pretty amazing season for a guy. So let's grab Trent Grisham. And, Manzardo is probably getting back to me. And that'll be fine for my second utility position. And we'll get our power numbers soaring to the heights. We'll win that every week on home runs and RBIs. Merrill Kelly just went. Zach Gallen had gone a couple seconds ago. And Rushman at 220. So taking a catcher that late, you expect someone to... what happened with Rushman? Man, he was so good for a couple years there. All right, so we're back to me. And I am definitely looking at grabbing my guy. Where are you at? Where's he at? Oh, I'm on third baseman. Manzardo's a first baseman. What am I doing? There he is. Let's grab Manzardo and secure all of the home runs now. So we have got a power team. Raleigh, Devers, Garcia, not so much power. Ramirez, Adames, Riley Green, Taylor Ward, Paez, Grisham, and Manzardo. And we're still doing pretty good on our pitching staff. Abbott is our first of our bench pitchers, so we need to grab a couple of more. Actually, it's 3 more bench pitchers and 1 bench bat is the rule I use. So, we're going to go grab some more pitchers. Let's take a look at starting pitchers, and we'll be back. Coming up next, I've queued up some of my starting pitchers I'd like to take. I have over here Messick and Shane Smith, Ashcraft, and Painter. Although Painter, I know he's having a little bit of control issues right now. He's a little wild. He's 22. He's young. This 100 innings pitched might be his ceiling. I don't know if he'll go beyond that. And I do like to get some volume out of guys. Smith is one he proved he can get the volume. But the other 3, I don't know if they'll get the volume. Now, they may be pitching good in the spring, but that doesn't tell me what they're going to do on the season. This is a small sample, 69 innings. And I've gotten a text. I don't know who from. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But yeah, we're going to take, I think it's going to be Smith. But let's take a look at the starting pitchers and make sure that I don't see someone else. Baz last year, he does get the innings, but his ERA and WHIP were out of control. I don't know. Bailey Ober's not one to be overlooked. But I think we're just going to go ahead and take Smith here and get the innings up to 150. Get more volume. So, one pitcher that I overlooked who does get good volume, not the best ERA and WHIP is terrible, just a terrible WHIP. But I think that I have positioned myself where I can absorb a little bit of a hit on this 1.37 WHIP, and I can absorb that 4.22 ERA, because my pitching staff is a good one, and we're volume-based here, and I want these strikeouts, because, that's going to put me... I've got to keep pushing for... Remember, I go by numbers from last season. 1,500 total strikeouts from last season is the minimum target. And I've got a little ways to go to get there. It's my turn to draft, so we're just going to take David Peterson. Because, volume, strikeouts, I can absorb a little of this hit. It's not going to feel great, but I can absorb it. And we got then one more pick to make between Messick and Ashcraft. And we don't know. I do, man. I do like Ashcraft. I can't say that enough. But I also like Messick. But Messick, it's a smaller sample size. But his numbers were pretty impressive. The whip is not as great, but again, I can absorb a little of that hit. But I think I like Ashcraft again here. That'll be what, like my third, maybe fourth time grabbing Ashcraft. And, this is, as we all know, guess what? It's the end of the draft. You're just throwing a dart and hoping that it hits. You might land a bullseye down in this area, but you really, these guys, you can't expect them to do great. You're hoping that they turn something around or improve somewhere. So grab what you think will help your team the best in the last round. It's the final round. Well, okay. I did add one person to this list. I added Leiter. And Leiter I added because we know he can get the volume, good strikeout rate, and again, I can absorb this whip. And I appreciate this ERA might go down a little bit, but I think I can still absorb that hit. But I like Leiter, so I think he's going to get the rotation spot again. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't. So let's go ahead and just go ahead and grab him. Leiter. All right, so now here's where we test it, okay? Looking at 2025 stats, my batters, I need my runs to be greater than 850, home runs above 300, RBIs above 900. And fellas, I think we just eclipsed those numbers. That's numbers with one bench bat. And then on on stolen bases, I like to be above 100, and I believe we're better than that. So then on pitching stats, I'd like to have 100 wins. I'd like to have as many as possible saves, but guys, we don't know who a lot of the closers are yet, so that's hard to do. In the draft, if you're drafting too many closers in the draft, you might be grabbing a guy who's not going to be closing by May. But my strikeouts, I like to be 1,500, above 1,500. And then try to get the ERA and whip as low as possible. So let's take a look. Did I get my numbers? All right. 850. Well, I got 950 runs. That's 100 more. I got 352 home runs. That's 52 more. I got 993 RBIs. That's a 93 over. Stolen bases are above 100, so I will be competitive. Batting average doesn't matter. Wins, 115, so that's definitely above. Saves, like I said, we don't know who closers are yet in a lot of teams. 1,636 strikeouts puts me well above those numbers. My ERA and whip are pretty darn good, 3.45 and 1.12. So, based on that, okay, this baseball team, it looks like he drafted similarly, but he didn't get quite the power numbers. He got a better batting average, but look at how similar everything else is. He's got a better ERA and whip. Well, the whip is the same. But he's got a better ERA, and he's got a better batting average, and I think he's only got one bench bat. Let's take a look. Nope, he's got two bench bats. Wow, so for what I did, but that's actually impressive for what he did there. He got the strikeouts with one fewer starting pitcher than I had. Yamamoto, Fried. Okay, now it makes sense. Yamamoto, Fried, Webb, Ryan, Eovaldi. Wow, this guy really invested early into pitching, didn't he? Gallen, Patrick, Cameron, and Senga. But his bats, Langoliers, Diaz, Horner, Bohm, Witt, Rooker, Yelich, Stowers, Nimmo, Jacob Wilson, Marcus Semien, and Carlos Correa. Okay, well, I'm not in love with the bats, but overall, guys, these are great numbers for my draft from pick 7. So I'm happy with that. Based on projections, they're projecting me to not even come close to anyone else. So that I don't look at projections often, but the reason that I don't like to look at projections and where this total lands us, you'll be 7th place, is because so many of these guys have so many bench bats that, like this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bench bats. He didn't even fill in his complete. All he got was relief pitchers. That's it. This is a terrible team. You cannot win this way. You'll never get strikeouts. You'll never get wins. You're going to have to stream 6 pitchers a week, and you're still at max going to get six wins. And I don't see it. But the thing about it is the saves. Okay, you're gonna do great in saves, you think. But I think what he was trying to do is keep this ERA and WHIP as low as possible, and I just don't like drafting a team like this. This is not a good idea. Please don't do this to your team. Please do not just draft relief pitchers. That's not going to be good for you. No matter how many you stream in, I've still got this stack of pitchers that's going to come at you. And what's the point of having all these bench bats? I mean, on your day off, you're going to be able to fill in a couple, but no, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. These numbers are all a lie. It's all a lie. I just don't like drafting teams that way. But yeah, I think that we put together a great bats right here. These are amazing bats. Even these projections are amazing. So I'm thrilled about the pitching staff as well. I'm never thrilled about the ERA and WHIP, but I'm after the volume of wins and strikeouts. I like guys who have proven that they can do it. So I think we've got an excellent team here. And, I may end up with one more draft. I'm not sure. I'm thinking about one more. I do love drafting. I love draft season. And anyways, let's take one last look at my team and make sure I'm happy with it. So Cal Raleigh at catcher, Devers at first, Garcia at second, third, short, and outfield. Jose Ramirez at third, Willie Adames at short, Riley Green, Taylor Ward, Ande Paez in the outfield. Trent Grisham and Kyle Manzardo in utility, and Heliot Ramos, he's the leadoff guy in San Francisco, right? That's why he gets so many runs. But anyways, and then for pitching, we've got Wu and Pivetta as our top guys. Then we've got Chapman and Hoffman as closers. Then Bubba Chandler, Pepio, Bibby, Rasmussen round out the starting pitchers, with Andrew Abbott, Shane Smith, David Peterson, and Jack Leiter as my backups. Guys, I love this team. I think we did a great one here. All right, everybody, I really want to appreciate you for tuning in to this draft. And anybody who's watching this, because you got drafts coming up tomorrow, good luck, man. You can do it from pick 7. I've heard so many people say that, like, pick 7 and 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, they don't like those draft choices. I don't mind them. I can still put together a heck of a team because I know what I want going in, and I want these numbers to be right. That's what I want. I want these numbers right. And if I can do that, then I'm in the playoffs. And remember, we're making the playoffs every year over 60% of the time. We're at 70%. Didn't quite make 75% last time, but that was because of an odd number of teams. But we're making the playoffs all over the place, and you can too. Just follow your instincts and follow the draft strategy. Get your numbers up in your bats, your power numbers. You want those up high. No more than one bench bat. Steal some stolen bases along the way, but if you take a look, we're near the bottom. This team has 37, this team has 121, but this 125 will keep us competitive with a lot of teams. Don't worry about batting average. That's going to fluctuate so much. Don't try to dominate batting average because you'll lose these other numbers if you try to dominate batting average. Get your wins, get your strikeouts. Get a couple of closers somewhere, between 7 and 10, round 7 through 10. You'll find some good closers in there. And then your ERA and WHIP, get them as low as possible. Remember, I told you I was taking a hit with a couple of the guys I took at the end, and it didn't take too much of a hit, though. So I'm pretty happy overall. But, yeah, thanks for tuning in, fellas. Good luck with your drafts, and I may do another one.